Okay. Good morning. Page 4 of our 9 o'clock calendar is the Kaloustian Montano case. This is D 2021-627-261. We are on the record at the Regional Justice Center. Welcome. We should have connected Ari Kaloustian. Are you there?
Yes, good morning.
All right, thank you. And do we have Edith Montano also?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
All right, good. So the court heard this matter on August 10th. We made a mediation referral. The letter that I got from the mediation center said that the parties participated. They created a parenting agreement, and they sent it to me for review with you. I saw that Ms. Tyndall withdrew as unbundled counsel last week, and I just want to confirm, this is a custody case, and if you worked out a parenting agreement, whether or not you authorized the court to file it. So, sir, are you okay with the parenting agreement?
Yes, I just wanted to make one slight change, if I may kindly.
Do you have it in front of you? If you don't, just tell me what the change is so I can locate it.
In regards to the exchanging of the child, I would like to have the child exchanged only by parents, so a mother to a father and a father to a mother.
All right. On page 6, there's a transportation provision. It says the parents agree that the responsibility for providing transportation shall be assumed by the receiving parent. The parents mutually agree the child should be picked up and returned at designated times. Should the delay become necessary, the other parent will be notified as soon as possible. The parents agree that in the event the mother is unable to pick up the child for her timeshare, the father shall transport the child to the mother. So, do typically both of you do the pickups and drop-offs yourself?
Yes, Your Honor. But, Your Honor, we do. We have.
Okay, so is there an occasion where either one of you would need to use someone else to do the pickups and drop-offs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, who
Your Honor, right now, at my job, I sometimes do weekend intake where I have to come into the office or go with clients. So therefore, I don't know if I'm going to be available at the time that he drops off our son for me to go ahead and be able to pick him up or drop him off. This is why I designated where I live, where I reside. I reside with a lady that watches our son as well, and she's his babysitter. So I trust her, and I confide in her for her to take care of our son while I'm not there.
Well, that's fine, but is that person going to be transporting the child, or is that person just going to receive the child?
That person can transport the child or receive the child, however Mr. Kaloustian would like.
Then I'm not understanding Dad's concern. Dad, tell me what you're concerned about, because I don't see, what do you object to? I don't understand.
In regards to the child, I do not want to give the child to somebody that I do not know.
Well, okay, but both of you are going to hire babysitters. You're going to have people that you entrust to care for the child temporarily. Introduce yourself to the babysitter. It would be an issue if the person was unfit or some other kind of problem. This comes up sometimes when significant others are involved in custody transfers and there's some public safety concerns. But if mom has to work and she has a babysitter that she's hired, why wouldn't you deliver the child to the babysitter?
Because the babysitter that she has, I perceive to be confrontational.
Okay, so you do know her.
I know who she is, but I don't know her as a person. Like we don't communicate because of language barriers.
Okay, well,
I know who she is.
That's fine. I want to understand where you're coming from so I can consider whether there's any specific orders that are necessary. Now, have you worked out, this case, if we have a parenting agreement that talks about holidays and the timeshares, and we're going to file that, but
And, Your Honor?
Yeah.
When I bring something up, this weekend that incident occurred where he dropped off our son with the babysitter and with her being there. However, he walked in with his guns, showing his armed guns with our son, carrying our son like that. I also have a problem with that happening because our son is a 20-month-old active boy, and him coming across with his guns showing like a vest, with his guns, both his guns exposing, with the sitter trying to enforce some kind of intimidation. I don't think that's appropriate,
Well,
especially.
I get that. I appreciate you sharing that with me. I'm trying to get a handle on where we are in this case. Those kind of issues, that would explain why somebody who's receiving the child might be intimidated or not. I don't understand. I mean, do you have open carry? Are you in law enforcement or something, sir? What is the context?
Yes, Your Honor. And I was advised by the mother an hour before, prior to her normally retrieving the child, regarding that she is not going to pick up the child. So in a source of last minute to scramble and see what I can do accordingly to deliver or accommodate the child somewhere safely, I had no choice but to take and deliver our child to this alleged babysitter prior to going to work.
Where do you work?
I work in a homeowners association providing security services and armed personnel.
Yeah, so you're wearing your uniform, right?
Yes.
Look, I got no issue with that. But look,
yes.
You guys are both going to have folks that you're going to have as babysitters or childcare. That's what working people do sometimes, okay? And so part of it is dealing with that in a responsible way. It seems like you had more of a beef about why Dad had to deliver the child than who the child was delivered to or what Dad was wearing. If Dad is in a job where he carries a gun, I'm not going to require him to get undressed in order to deliver the child, okay, as long as he acts responsibly. And if he is in a job in which he carries a firearm, then he probably has gone through all kinds of mandatory training as it relates to safety concerning a child. I'm not here in a calendar where I've got 12 cases during this time equipped to spend an hour with you to talk about the nuances of the case. I appreciate that you've mediated a parenting agreement. I wanted to confirm that you did. If the case is settled, then I want to prepare a custody decree to close the case. If you have these lingering issues and you need to be heard and you're not prepared to settle the case, you haven't decided on issues of insurance, you haven't decided issues of child support, you haven't decided issues of other pieces of custody besides the timeshare, that's fine. The court will set another time for that to be done when we have time to talk about it. But I don't know until I actually talk with you, because all they tell me is that you went to mediation and you worked out a parenting agreement. So that's a good thing. We had a custody.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the parenting agreement. I am fine. He's the one that has a problem dropping off our son at the babysitter.
Yeah, well, I'll address that. Now, the timeshare provision, I just want to read it. It says the parents agree, I'm reading from page 2, that the child shall reside primarily with the mother except during the first and third weekends of each month. The father's timeshare is defined as beginning Thursday at 8 a.m. and is defined as concluding a Saturday at 1 p.m. During the second week of the month, father's time is beginning on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. and concluding on Friday at 6 p.m. And beginning October 8th, the mother's weekend timeshare is defined as the second weekend of the month and defined as beginning Friday and concluding on Wednesday. During the fourth weekend of each month, the father's timeshare is defined as beginning Thursday morning at 8 a.m. and defined as concluding a Saturday at 9 p.m. And the child will be with mother other times. And then there's Easter, 4th of July, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Armenian Christmas, child's birthday, parents' birthdays. There's a vacation provision that says that each would be allowed 10 days during a calendar year for their respective vacations with 30 days notice. And so you guys have negotiated a really detailed and comprehensive plan. I want to make sure that you're following it and that you, because this contemplates starting this October 8th, and today is the 13th, so I'm going to be filing this today. I expect you to follow it. Now, as far as the agreement concerning delivery, you need to iron out these issues concerning the babysitter. If there's heartburn about, the court is going to allow mom to designate someone for childcare unless it can be shown that that person is not fit or is not suitable, and that hasn't been shown. If the mother's unable to pick the child, your agreement says you'll transport the child to the mother or her agent. I do not have any issues with dad if he's on the way to work wearing his uniform, okay? The court is going to find that the case is not settled. It's not resolved. Do you know what I mean, you're not represented by counsel now, but do you know what a custody decree is?
No, I do not.
All right, that's the order that closes a case like this. It contains the notices. Like, I don't even know what your financial circumstances are. Neither one of you filed financial disclosures. Or if you
I
did,
filed them already.
well, I'm looking at the filings from May, and I don't see when the financials were filed. When were they filed?
I filed them in May, Your Honor.
Well, I saw one on June 5th, and he says that he works Saturday to Wednesday, 2 to 10, off Thursday, Friday. Is that still true, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'll have to track hers down. Where do you work, ma'am?
I work in the law firm. I work in the law firm.
The what?
I work in the law firm. The law office of Gina Carrera.
And you filed a financial disclosure?
Yes.
All right, well, what type of law firm is it? A civil firm, a criminal
It's a
firm?
personal injury.
Okay, well, you should be able to, you know what the self-help center is. You should know what a custody decree is. You can get those forms, and if you approve those forms, the court will close the case. If you don't approve a custody decree, then the court will help you work through those contested issues. All right?
Your Honor, we haven't talked about child support, or we haven't talked about our son's health insurance, anything of those financials.
Right, right, and that's what is discussed. That's what you need to discuss, and if you can't discuss those things, then the court helps you resolve those things. I see your financial filed June 23rd, says that you are a legal assistant Monday through Friday, that you make $21 an hour. So,
yes.
And his financial says he works as armed security, and he makes $16 an hour. So in the custody schedule you've laid out, we would calculate what his support obligation is. We would make adjustments based on the timeshare, who provides insurance, that kind of thing. So what we're going to do is this. The case is only filed in July. I mean, not July. Filed in May. So it's not in backlog status. There are important issues that we need to talk about. We need to go over the financial information. We need to talk about things like insurance. We need to set support based on earnings. Now, if you're earning more than he is, and you have more time than he does, then we balance those out. We have to make adjustments. The court has to walk through that process. We don't have time to do it today. I'm going to continue this matter very briefly. We're going to set it over to November 2nd at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Now, let me finish, please, okay, and then I'll ask you for a question. That is on a motion calendar. That is to calculate support, to hear from you concerning insurance, and work through a custody decree. The court's going to file your parenting agreement. The court is specifically telling the parties that they need to follow that agreement. Dad's concerns about mom's babysitter, I've heard that. I'm not requiring her to be present as it relates to that. I'm also not going to require him to make a custody exchange out of uniform. What's your question, ma'am?
No, I do wanted to make sure that the mediation, parenting agreement was going to play into role. That's all, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, I want you to, you're going to get the filed parenting plan, and believe me, what you guys did in mediation is the most critical part of this case. It's the most important part of this case. The other parts of the case are important too, but they require a little bit of time and discussion. I want Dad to be able to discuss his financial circumstances. I don't know basic things like whether you have other children, whether this is your only child, who provides insurance, what's the cost of that insurance. These are things that we need to have time to discuss. So I don't think we'll need a trial, but I'm gonna set this over to November 2nd at 10 a.m. That's basically 2.5 weeks from now.
Okay.
I'm gonna file the parenting agreement. You'll get it you probably signed up for e-service when this case was, filed, and so you'll get it as soon as it's filed, and I'll try to get it done today. The court's going to find that the parties negotiated a parenting agreement. The matter cannot be closed today, but we'll continue it over November 2nd to try to issue a custody decree. Mr. Kaloustian, do you have any questions before I let you go?
No.
All right, well, look at the self-help center information on what the court needs to decide. I know you're not lawyers, but I want you to understand what the court's talking about as far as your financial obligations. Ma'am, it sounds like you've done a little bit of research and you know about it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So good job in mediation. I'll file the plan later today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
You can log off.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You can log off with the red light on the top of your screen.
We're off the record.